Hey guys, long time no see. This is the first video of a series that I've wanted to do for a very long time, but before I switch over to the voiceover, I wanted to talk a little bit about bullet journaling and my thoughts on it. I first started bullet journaling back in January of 2016, which was the beginning of my last semester of undergrad. I've always been a person that has loved lists and organizing, making goals, and planning, so when I heard about bullet journaling and how it was a system that was completely customizable, I knew I had to try it. To be completely honest, since then I've used bullet journaling very on and off. When I'm in school I use it a lot more, and in the summer not so much. I think a bigger reason is because I haven't found a system that works best for me. And one of the things I struggle with the most when it comes to bullet journaling is trying to balance the love of designing and making it look aesthetically pleasing with the actual functionality and practicality of using a bullet journal. So I'm hoping that this video series will help keep me accountable in terms of using it more consistently, because I definitely find that when I am using it, I am more productive, I'm more healthy, and overall it's just a really positive thing in my life. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch my videos, and let me know in the comments if there are any future bullet journal videos you'd like to see or anything related to stationery. I'd really love to know your thoughts on it, and I hope you enjoy this video. Bye! Okay, so let's get started. I've already drawn my cover page in pencil to give us a little bit of a head start and to save some time. Here I'm using my Prismacolors in blue and pink to color in the letters, and my Tombow marker in gray to give the letters a bit of a shadow and to help it stand out. So for my August spread, I used the theme of terrariums, and I love terrariums. I think they're such a cool object, and I really love their geometric abstract structure, and of course I love the succulents inside as well. I thought it would be a really cool object to use as inspiration because it would give me the freedom to play with a lot of different colors and also just to experiment with abstract shapes. So here I'm filling out the frame of the terrarium and using a kind of brownish red color to focus on the corners of where the different bars meet, and that just helps to emphasize the three-dimensional quality of the object. In terms of my color palette, you'll see later, but I really go crazy with the colors. Of course, I draw from the realistic colors of what my subject matter actually is, but I also really used a lot of, I guess, more imaginative colors and just gave it that more surrealist look. And even in general with my artwork, it tends to be like that. Like, I'll draw inspiration from the real object, but also put my own spin on it. So for the actual plants inside my terrarium, I did a pretty general Google search. I think it was literally the word terrariums, and from there I just included the kinds of plants that I wanted. You can totally have fun with this. Like, I love that little cactus that I have there. In terms of how I colored everything, I like to do kind of like a light shading technique first, and then after that I'll use more pressure and kind of use the same colors, but just add a lot of different textures and line work to it on top, and I think that just helps give it a lot of life and gives it more of that visual interest. So yeah, you'll see I add all of these colors. So for the soil and whatever is grounding the actual plants, I'm using that brown and gray, again using that kind of shading, light shading technique, and then using like more patchy textures on top to give that movement to the soil. And for the top half of the terrarium, I used a light gray and light blue, and I kept it very soft and just shaded it to give it that glassy effect. So after I finished that, I wasn't really happy with how the letters turned out. I just felt like it was blending way too much into the background, so I used my calligraphy marker and outlined the letters again and kind of filled it out. I really like how it turned out. I think it has much more of a almost cartoony look to it, but I definitely wanted it to stand out from the background, especially since it's my cover page for August. So next I used my Micron pen to start outlining the geometric abstract terrarium surrounding the main one. I mean, I'm using the word terrarium pretty roughly here because I think after a while I just focused a lot on the shapes and the different planes. And I had a lot of fun with this. Like, there's really no wrong way to do this. So here I am outlining again the corners of where the bars meet with my black pen, just because after I outlined the letters I felt like the terrarium was fading to the background too much as well. In terms of the color palette here, I stuck with more of a pastel for the surrounding shapes. It's mainly the pink, blue, mint green, and yellow. And it's almost like kind of like a coloring book thing, and like customize what you want your color scheme to look like. And I really like it. It's kind of a very fun page, and you can do whatever you want with it, so I like that aspect of it. So here I'm using the midliner highlighter to emphasize the reflective quality of the terrarium. And I think it was just a nice way to add a bit of detail to it. And the last step I did for my cover page was use this yellow color pencil to shade around the terrarium, and I think it gave it a really cool glowing effect. Next, moving on to the August Memories page. The kind of header I've done here, I have used it in previous spreads, and I just like the look of it a lot. I'll do these like lowercase bubble letters and then use my micron pen or sometimes a Muji pen to outline the shadow on the side. You'll see there in a bit that I think I actually messed it up a little, so I went in with my pencil and kind of shaded around it. I find that that's a pretty good way to make up for a mistake, usually just by using a pencil, because it really softens the lines and like the pen marks. I really love the memories page because of the stage I'm in. Work sometimes makes every day feel like a blur and just blend together. So I find this memories page really motivates me to reflect on my day and think about specific moments that I would really want to remember in the future. So here I'm just adding a little bit more detail with my Tombow pens on the fine tip side and giving a little bit more decoration. Next is my August timeline and tasks page. I kept the rest of my spreads very, very simple and minimalistic. Like I mentioned earlier in my video, I've definitely struggled with spending way too much time on the design and then not even really using it that much once the month goes by. So, I mean, that's part of the reason I wanted to keep it simple, because I do want to actually use the pages to organize my tasks and organize my timeline effectively. And I did keep it consistent in terms of my color scheme, and I'll list the exact numbers for the Tombow markers that I used, but I kept it to that green and the pink. And in my September Plan With Me video, I'll definitely show you guys how these pages turned out and actually show you how I filled them out with my lists and content. So here again, I'm just going along with the abstract prisms to keep it consistent. And you'll see here they look less and less like terrariums, but I think it's okay. But I had a lot of fun just filling in the different planes. I usually use like linear strokes and then sometimes make it more filled and sometimes more light. So here I just use a combination of colors, the green and pink, and I alternated that within each spread. Next is my weekly bullet journal layout, and again I kept it very simple and I focused on making these prism looking buttons for each day, and I started out with either hexagon or pentagon and just built it off from there using rectangular shapes. I really like how this page turned out. I think it's actually my favorite in this video. It was really quick to do, but I think it just had such like a bold quality to it. And I used the greens and pinks again to make it match with the rest of my theme. I wasn't too worried about getting color outside the lines, like making the lines perfect. I think that just added to the kind of punchy quality it has. I'll talk a little bit more about trackers, I think, in a future video, but I'm trying out this like weekly tracker instead. So that's pretty much it for my August Plan With Me. Here's a bit of a summary of it. Thanks for watching this video, and let me know if you guys ever try out some of these designs. I would really love to see them. If you want to see more of my bullet journal stuff or just my artwork in general, you can follow me on my Instagram at @DolceArtist. That's where I post everything, and thanks for watching again. I'll see you in my next one.